In the first 2 episodes, we met Ijin, a former mercenary who is back with his family after 10 years. We had stopped on Ijin, who reveals to Yuna that he had met his father before he died. And it is thanks to Yuna's father that Ijin could be saved from the war. By the way, if you missed the first 2 parts, they are just above. Sometime after talking to Yuna, we find as usual Ijin with all his family. They spend a good time together. There is someone who knocks at their door. It is in fact the commander of Ijin who is there. They enter their house and the grandfather offers him to stay for lunch. The grandfather wanted to meet him. When he had called, he thought that the commander was just an employee of the embassy. He did not know that he was the soldier who brought Ijin back. The commander replied that there was no problem. It was mostly Ijin who helped them. And the commander said that especially because Ijin saved his life. The commander then said that he met Ijin while he was on a trip abroad. He said that Ijin was a guide for the other travelers. He really enjoys the time spent with them. He even tells Dayan to consider him as his brother too. Later, Ijin and the commander go out to be alone. The commander is happy that Ijin is doing well, and Ijin asks him what he brings suddenly. The commander says that he had something to do and that he took the opportunity to visit him. He also tells him that his grandfather is a good person and that his sister seems nice. But the commander has to leave already. He says that he has to go to see his fiancée. Ijin is shocked that he is engaged. The commander gets angry. Ijin thought that he was not able to get engaged. The commander then replies that it is a marriage arranged by both families. Since he is often on the move, he does not have time to meet anyone yet. So it's a good thing. And before leaving, the commander asks if Ijin managed to find out what he wanted to know. We then see a flashback where Ijin asks the commander what a family is. Ijin answers then that he begins to understand. And immediately after we see Jai. She says that she is sorry to have asked him to come here. She is very busy because of her schedule. And in front of her is the commander. Jai says that it's normal that he is very busy. He has several missions abroad. Jai thinks to herself that she never imagined that she would ever date a military man. They would never have met without their family. She then asks the commander how many times they have seen each other. And the commander answers 14 times. She says that's not very many, even though they've been engaged for over a year. She then asks the commander for a favor. She shows him a sheet, and on this sheet we see the photo of Ijin. She asks him to inquire about this high school student. She says that it is a new student who is in the same class as Yuna, and all the information in his file is falsified. The government even prevents Jai from doing her own research. The commander is shocked. He says he is sorry, but he doesn't think he can grant her request. Jai did not expect this response at all. The commander trembles and says in his head that he is still on Ijin's side. A few days later, Ijin receives a call. The commander and his troop are surrounded by the enemies, and we even see the enemies. They are ready to start the attack. The commander is in danger, and when they had learned that his troop had been attacked by another armed group, they preferred to warn Ijin. A rescue is being made, but it is not sure that it will succeed. Ijin answers that if they called, it is because the situation of the commander is very critical. They tell him to prepare for the worst. But above all, he must not intervene. He must let the army do its job. And from now on it is not like before. He has a family. Ijin remembers the good times he spent with the commander. It was the commander who helped him recover his memory. And it was even him who did the research to find his family. Ijin is very sad, but he continues to act as if nothing had happened with his family. While they are eating, Ijin asks his grandfather if a person who helped him is in a bad situation, should he return the favor. The grandfather says that it is not a simple question, but what is sure is that the intention of the person who helped you first will always be more valuable. The grandfather's answer convinced Ijin. He wants to go. He then calls the army back and asks if they can prepare his deployment. On the side of the commander's group, their soldiers are exhausted. Some are almost dead. And on top of that they have no food. Their enemies say that it is almost the end. They have resisted until now. They are quite strong. And also if they didn't have civilians to protect, they probably would have one. Their leader also has a scar on his face. And this scar was made by Ijin in the past. By the way, we see at the same time Ijin who is in the plane. The military explain to him what he will do there. They tell him that this is an area where he has fought before, but he asks him if he is sure he wants to go. And Ijin answers that he is sure. Just before the landing, we see Ijin, who is determined. The commander on his side continues to face their enemies. They don't have much ammunition left, and the wounded and the civilians slow him down a lot. He knows that the strategy of their enemies is to weaken them. They don't care if they sacrifice their soldiers or not. But the commander does not change his mind. The main objective is still to evacuate the civilians. On the enemy side, they have already set up their teams to attack the commander's team as soon as it arrives. But after a while they lose contact with the A team. They are shocked because the commander's team should not be there yet. And as they call the B team, they are also fighting. Normally it's impossible for it to be the commander because he is still far away. The leader of the enemies is shocked. He thinks that in the end it was them who were chased. Of course it is Ijin who is fighting alone the enemy groups. His goal is to hold the enemies back because there are only 30 minutes left before the commander's troop is evacuated. Since he is alone, the enemies cannot see his movements accurately. So he takes the opportunity to move around a lot, and he saves time for the commander. The commander on his side is shocked. He doesn't know yet that Ijin has been sent to save them, and all the enemy troops have been neutralized on their way. On his side, Ijin is still facing the enemy soldiers. They have noticed that he is alone. He has only 14 minutes left. The commander on his side is shocked. Why are there no more shots on their side? He then receives a call from Ijin. He understands that he is the one who eliminated them, and he is back to them. He is completely shocked to see Ijin. He gets angry with him and tells him that he has lost his mind. Ijin says that he knows the terrain better than he does, and Ijin adds that it is to save him that he came. If he had not come, when he knew that he was in danger, he would have regretted all his life. On the enemy side, almost all their troops are dead. They really wonder how they could have lost. But the enemy commander thinks that this style of fighting reminds him of Ijin. He feels the pain on his scar again. But the enemies think that Ijin was killed many years ago. But the commander tells them to analyze the situation on the assumption that Ijin is still alive. Back in Korea, Ijin continues his training. Today he is with Seokju, and he still manages to beat them quite easily. All the others are watching. Seokju tells him that next to Ijin, he feels like a small fish among many others. He tells him that he is sure that he has been facing this kind of training for many years. Even though since he was little, everyone tells Seokju that he is a genius. Compared to Ijin he is nothing at all. But Ijin answers him that everyone has his specialty. For example, Seokju was educated to be Yuna's secretary when she will work totally for her grandfather's company. But for example, Ijin is unable to work as an assistant. At the same time, the commander calls him. He tells him that he never wants to see him in the field again. Even if it's strange because he saved him, he tells him that it's not his place. Now he has a family, he has changed. So he doesn't want to see him there anymore. Yuna then asks Ijin if he intends to return home. But Ijin answers that he has to join his friends at the cyber cafe. Yuna then says that she wants to come with him. And when they go there, he sees that there is nobody there. Other high school students had come, and they beat them up. On the other side, we see Yangshan who is running away. He is hiding and all the other students are chasing him. His two friends are also fighting against all the students. And at the same time, Ijin calls Yangshan. Yangshan goes to meet Ijin. He explains the situation to him. And on the other side, his friends are totally bloody. So Ijin, Seokju and Yangshan go to them and save them. But when they arrive at the place, there is no one left. The other students have captured their friends. But other enemy students meet them. They try to attack them, but Ijin and Seokju put them down quickly. On the other side, we see their enemy who is very violent. He is the leader of all the other high school students. And while he was beating Ijin's friends, they hear some noise outside. It is of course Ijin, Seokju and Yangshan who arrive. Ijin and Seokju fight against all the other students. And of course they have no trouble to defeat them. They are much too powerful, even for 30 students. Their leader is shocked that they managed to control so many people. Even if he tries to attack them, he also ends up on the ground. But he takes out a knife and tries to attack Ijin. But it doesn't make any difference to Ijin that he overcomes him. A little later, we see the leader of a gang. They are with the leader of the high school students who is part of their gang. The leader of the gang says that he will take revenge because Ijin has damaged the image of their gang. And on the other side, we see the other gang bump who helped Ijin in the past. And when he learns that the other gangs want to attack Ijin, he gathers his men. He says they have to take care of a case. When the boss of the gang goes to meet the other gang, he says that he should not interfere in the affairs of the high school students. He should let the kids fight each other. He once again solved Ijin's problems. The next day, all the friends go to have a good time together. Even Yuna joins them. And while he was on his way home, Ijin gets a call from Daein. She and her grandfather are going shopping, so Ijin joins them. And while they were on their way back, Ijin sees someone in the shadows. He is shocked to see this person. And this person tells him that it's been a while. 001. 001 is Ijin's old name, when he was still a mercenary. We even see a flashback of Ijin with this man who was in the war together. The grandfather and the sister of Ijin ask him if he knew this man. And Ijin says that he is an old comrade. The grandfather is delighted and even tells him if he wants to come to dinner with them. But the man refuses. He says that he was just passing by. When Ijin and the man are alone, they talk. The man tells him that for someone who is supposed to be dead, he seems to be fine. Ijin then asks 006 how he found him. 006 answers that the camp has learned that he stayed alive. They look for him, but 006 tells him to relax. They do not know yet where he is, and 006 was around, so he wanted to find him first. But he tells him that soon they will have where he is, and the camp will certainly order him to eliminate Ijin. But he says that for the moment he can stay quiet, because today he is only his former comrade. Who is really this 006 and why Ijin is afraid of him? Is he as powerful or even stronger than him? Why does he work with Ijin's enemies? And did Ijin work with them in the past? We'll see that in the next video. By the way, if you liked the video, tell me in comments, and subscribe to not miss the next episodes which are coming soon.